y'all, it is the Southern Belle from Hell here, and for the 50 states build challenge I have going on, I decided to finally do Texas. I have been to Texas quite a lot this summer, so I said, you know what, we're just gonna do it. And I wanted to make, of course, a huge ranch, and I wanted to do it in this lot that reminds me a lot of Southwest Texas. There are so many different lots that could fit in with a Texas build. And I really, if you notice here, if you're like, what is she doing? I don't know what I'm doing right now. I had an idea for the second floor, and I said, you know what? No, we'll just do it like this. But no, there's so many different like lots and different worlds that you could apply to a Texas build, because Texas is such a massive state and has so many different climate zones. But I wanted to do Southwest Texas for this one and make it like a traditional, very cultured ranch type that definitely is for a big family, and they take excellent care of their horses. So that's the inspiration, and that is where we're going with this build. Sorry, I had a lot to get out there. So I really didn't know how big I was going to take this, but it's actually not as big as some of my other builds. It's just the rooms are really, really big, which it makes sense with a lot of the ranch houses. You know, a lot of the rooms are kind of like the colonial style where they go into each other. But I really like this house because of the space, and because it just seems like the layout itself is good for, you know, a big family and big family get-togethers. But with that being said, it's not as many bedrooms as like my colonial build. Because again, I wanted them all to be pretty spacious. It's 4-bedroom and 5-bathroom. And I built a stable in the back. Right now I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is the design of this house going to be? So I looked through a lot of my saved pictures of houses on Pinterest, and this doesn't look exactly like the house, because the house I was going off of was pretty small. But I really did like the whole black and whitewashed wood ranch house look. And it had this stone that was, you know, on the brain fart, the fireplaces, and it was kind of like an accent stone that was really pale. And I didn't like the way the other like pale stones looked against this house, so I just went with the ranch house masonry. I believe that's exactly what it's called, for the accent stone wallpaper. I'm gonna get there one day, guys. And the fireplace to me looked exactly like the fireplaces that was depicted in the images after I've, you know, kind of fixed it. I had some trouble with the right fireplace just not like being equal to the other fireplace. The other fireplace just, you know, it went in perfectly. This one was giving me problems. I don't know what it was about this right side fireplace, but okay, got it as equal as I think I was gonna be able to get it. So for the windows, I usually don't like putting my windows on until I've figured out the layout of the house. But I really wanted to figure out, like, what are going to be the big windows, what are going to be the kitchen size windows, and what are going to be the tiny windows for the areas that, you know, aren't as open. So I wanted to go ahead and get that out of my brain first. Like, what are we going to settle with? Because at least in the picture, there was only like one type of window. And I went, no, like that would look weird if I just had one type of window all the way around this huge house. So I don't put the tiny windows in until I figured out the layout. So you've seen me get away the big windows and the little medium-sized windows. I'm adding some corbels underneath the awnings of each dormer. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, how can I make this look as authentic as possible? So I take a little break before I figure out what the small windows are going to be and the layout and everything. And what I'm trying to do now is figure out, like, how am I going to do the stable, because I didn't want it to look like a miniature replica of the exact house I'm doing. So I decided to do it in the same type of stone, but without any of the baseboards. And y'all know I struggle with roofs. They end up looking okay in the end, but I struggle with them. So I wanted to keep the black because to me that black just looked so good, and I thought it would look weird to have another roof pattern. You know, I mean, I could have, but I wanted to have it like fit in, you know, to this space, because at least from the map, next to this like just desert, oh, these things just pop, you know, so those differences just really jut out at you. And I didn't want that. I didn't want like things to just look mismatched. Can't talk today. Not a shocker there. I usually can't talk. As soon as I open up like the record microphone, I can't do it. Which sucks when you're trying to make a YouTube video. Okay, so I think I've got the layout of this stable down pretty well, and I said, okay, now how are we going to decorate the outside? And you know, I finish up with the spandrels around this this stable. Oh, come on, Macy, think. Okay. And so I'm just kind of adding some different pieces before I start putting the grass down. Like, I didn't want this whole landscape to just look, you know, so out of the ordinary. So I try to put it almost randomly, like they sprinkled some grass seeds just around the outermost of their property, and where they're really going to be interacting the most in their yard. And the rest of it is just, you know, desert. So we have some trees from the same pack to kind of make it fit in just a little bit more. And I did put some dry trees. And now I'm figuring out the foliage. So I knew I wanted a bunch of the dry grass coming in from the outer landscape so it would blend in a little bit better. And I feel like I did a pretty good job with that. Like, it looks more fitting than not having that dry grass. Now, I pull out a whole bunch of stuff, like how are we going to landscape this place? Because I didn't want it to look artificial, but obviously it's going to be, because, you know, these aren't all just like popular desert plants. And I wanted to stick with like a white and yellow and maybe a touch of orange scheme. And so that's what I did, and I think it ended up looking pretty cute. I like the way the ferns look in there, and I picked the ferns that are, I think it's the dry fern. I think so, or it could be the painted fern. And it's not as green. Like, it's not as green as the other ferns. And it's the same for the shrubbery. There's like other shrubbery swatches that are super green. This is like the not so green, like not so fresh looking little bit of shrubbery. I tried to get it to look like the mesquite trees, basically, like a green that makes sense with the surrounding, like the green that's on the outside of this lot. And I felt good about it. Like it didn't look as, like, oh, these plants do not belong here at all whatsoever. I didn't want that. And now what actually took the longest is sizing these boulders down from the same pack and making it like landscape stones. I kind of regretted that decision to do landscape stones like that after I started putting these stones down because it took so long. And so I'm kind of speeding through this. I make it a little bit faster, this part of the recording, because of how long it takes me to do this. And there are a set of stones that are all together like that, but they're more gray, and to me it doesn't fit in with this particular lot. If I would have picked another lot that had more greenery around it, it would have made sense. But for this lot, I'm like, no, we need like these reddish orange, burnt by the sun looking rocks. So yeah. I got kind of particular with this build. I really wanted it to look how I had it pictured in my mind. And yeah, and it did for the most part. So I don't regret the decision. But when I say like it took me like maybe 3 hours, it did. I'm not even kidding. And yeah, so I did not want to show you guys like every single second of that. So like right now what you see me doing is filling in the spots that absolutely like just were open, and that's what I did. And I'm scattering around some rocks. I decide to put in some stepping stones that connect from the house to the stables, and also a little bit on the front entry, not all the way to the the entry, but something that looks a little bit more natural. I don't landscape the stable as heavily because I feel like it doesn't really need it. That would look a little bit too cookie cutter. And now I'm putting in finally the small little windows. And to me that fit in so much better than just having the same looking windows all around the house. I don't like builds like that. Like when you live in like a normal house, yeah, but not for this. What I'm doing here is I'm adding an extra stair to just widen up the landing part. And this is where it gets a little weird. So you see that spot where it looks like I have a different floor. It's actually the same floor as the stair. And if you download the like this house in the gallery, you don't even see that mark unless you go into build mode, like that mark where it doesn't look like it matches. So it is so weird. Only in build mode do you see it. And it was so frustrating to me because I'm like, I didn't want just this random mark. I wanted it to blend in seamlessly. But when I did do a playthrough after this, after I got through building, and I was like, okay, I'm satisfied, but let me see how everything works. I didn't even see that spot anymore. So I'm like, why do I see it on build mode? Okay, so I've got the layout down of the upstairs and the downstairs. And as you can see, all the rooms are huge. The bathrooms are pretty big. The dining room, living room, back entry, front entry, the living room itself, all of it goes into each other. It's like a big old circle. And right in the middle, I have 2 bathrooms and a laundry room. Up here, we have a wide entry for the landing of the stairs. And I have, let's see, 4 bedrooms. And one is the master bedroom. That's going to be for the parents. So the story I have in my mind to make this build like, make me get into it a little bit more and get into decorating. I picture this close-knit family and their life revolves around training their horses. And I picture them having a grown son who maybe like just became a young adult. You could see some remnants of high school in his room. And maybe he is still there helping his family for the ranch. Then they have a teenage daughter, and she is super creative. She is into knitting, she's into painting, and then they have a child daughter, and she's just kind of into a little bit of everything. She's into her horses, and she just loves animals. And let's see, I'm trying to think. I just have a lot of cute little playthings in her room. I didn't really go with like a certain activity or skill for her, except, animals. So that's kind of the story I'm going with when it comes to decorating and planning for, okay, how is this house going to flow into each other? How are these rooms going to kind of, have a little background of their own? I like to do that. If you guys would rather me just kind of not do that, let me know. I could work it out that way. But at least when it comes to decorating, I like the rooms to have a theme. And if I don't have a story in my mind, I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I guess maybe put this here. But yeah, I've heard some people say that they like builds that are only like 70% done. That would be a challenge for me, but I will try it if anyone would rather see me build a house like that without it being like, all the rooms decorated like they are. So figuring out the flooring, that was a little difficult because I didn't want the carpets to be super sparkly white, because I would figure living in the desert, you wouldn't want your carpets to be super sparkly white because the sand is so red out there. I've never really been in anyone's house in West Texas that I have several friends in West Texas, and I don't think any of their carpets are super white. It's like, a beige or, light brown, khaki type color. So that's why I picked what I picked upstairs. I did put white for the little girl's room because I felt like it just made more sense with the color scheme I had going. Kind of this fuchsia color with the white trim. So now we're doing the kitchen, and I knew immediately what I wanted in my mind. It's a big ranch. We got to have a big kitchen with a lot of space. They have got to have their area to make fantastic Tex-Mex and barbecue. This is the place where their friends and their family come for holidays and birthdays, little celebrations. I picture this family also into nectar making. So maybe they host dinner parties and introduce their nectar flavors through entertaining. So yeah, I wanted a really big country ranch style kitchen that feels like really welcoming and really open. And I don't know. I struggled a lot with the green because I felt like I wanted it to be a green kitchen, but I felt like this wallpaper was too minty. Like maybe I messed up a little bit on this. So like this ranch house, at least in my mind, yeah, it's got a lot of traditional hints to it, of course, but this is I didn't want it to look like a period piece, like a like this is from something way back when. I still wanted it to look like any modern family that's raising horses and stuff could live here. So you'll see like there's a lot of older styles, but there's a lot of modern technology as well. It's not a decades challenge. I think I did a decades challenge build for the, no, I don't know, I have not actually. I am wrong. I've had some houses I know I've put up that would be good. So if anyone ever wants to use any of my builds, I usually list my EA ID in the description down below, mcoleman570442. So yeah, just check these out. And again, like, give me some suggestions. I'm free for really any type of constructive criticism. So many of y'all's comments have been so nice, and I thank you guys so much. So now that I've got the decorations and a lot of these things up, I feel a little bit better about the minty green look. That wasn't really the vibe I was going for, but now that I've got some decorations up, I feel a little bit better about it. Like, this is okay. Because at first when I was putting everything down, I was like, why does, like, I looked forever trying to find a green that's not dark green, it's not teal, you know, it's just a calm green. And I was like, this just doesn't feel right. It makes me think of, you know, like one of those minty drinks. What is that called? Mojito. A mojito, yeah. But yeah, like, I guess it's just one of those colors that once you have everything down and stuff goes with it, it doesn't look as bad. I've used this color before, but I don't know why. It was just rubbing me the wrong way. All right, so here is their large dining room with the fireplace. I put in a lot of nectar crates. Like, this is the spot, this is the area. I thought about putting in a bar, like a big bar, but I said, you know what? I don't see them drinking anything else but the nectar they make when people come over. So I'll have a little globe bar, but everything else will be just focused on their, you know, nectar product. And I really love that statue of that horse. You know, like, they're paying homage to their horse. They take a lot of pride in their horses. Okay, so now we're working on the front, and I wanted this to just look, you know, welcoming. I didn't want to clutter it up too much. I just put some entry tables and some little sofas right before you get to the stairs. Nothing too drastic, you know, like, I wanted this house to look very open because it's big. And it's weird. Like, if you put, at least in my opinion, a lot of decorations. Ooh, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you've made it this far. If you have put up with me fumbling over my words for this long, please like and subscribe. I like you. So yeah, when you have a big build and you have these rooms and you just clutter it up, I feel like it makes the room look messy versus when you have a small house and you clutter it up. It looks, I don't know, kind of cozy, kind of interesting, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't fit that way for big builds. It just looks really busy and hectic. I don't know, I like tiny builds with a lot of stuff in it because, you know, like, your eye can catch everything, but when it's big builds, it's just like, oh god, there's a lot happening. I wanted to make an entertainment center, but I didn't want to change up the windows from the outside because everything looked so equal from the outside. So I just put some cabinets down and the TV up above. I put so many sitting areas for, you know, not just the family members, but also people that, you know, maybe other ranch hands that they hire, or when they have their parties, when they have their holidays and birthdays and stuff. So I put enough seating areas down, and to me, it just looks so welcoming, especially when I was taking the screenshots. I was like, I love this living room. Like, it just looks like, you know, this is such a fun house to hang out at. I didn't know what to do bookshelf wise. I didn't want to use the same bookshelves I always use, so I went with this. But I don't know, it's like one of those bookshelves where if you put another kind of bookshelf next to it, it looks so strange. So I end up kind of trying to figure out, like, well, what other shelf can I use, because I wanted one by this desk, and to me, just like everything just seemed to stick out like a sore thumb. So I end up reusing the same bookshelf again for the third time in this room, just because I just didn't feel like anything else matched. So now I'm getting some clutter pieces out, and I am, you know, getting some plants, some decorative items. I know I wanted, you know, I'm not going to clutter it up too much, but just have like little pieces of personality. I wanted to keep the same lamps, you know, have the rustic. I know it has the word rustic in it. It's from the Horse Ranch pack. Like, I use this lamp a lot throughout this entire house. And I think I used it even in the front living room. So for the end tables, I put like, you know, some little game boards, that little coffee stand, and for the coffee table, I wanted to put some glasses down, maybe, you know, mom, the teenager, whoever loves their magazines. And yeah, I thought maybe like these trophies could be trophies, you know, from, you know, riding horses, showing horses, barrel racing, things like that. So I'm just kind of going all around the room, adding little things that give each section like their, you know, own little character. And here I kind of play around a little bit because I wanted something to sit on that bottom piece of wood, but this chest set was too wide. So I ended up putting the extra towels underneath, and yeah, just kind of switching it up a little bit there and throwing a notebook in between the candles. I kind of like the way this looks because it looks full, but it looks like it goes together. I love the rugs. I knew I wanted to go with the traditional prints, and I love the way it just kind of fits in and flows in with each other. I wanted to put in a mirror on this fireplace, and you see me just messing around with tulle here, trying to get it smack dab in the middle, and I finally did it. I had to play around with it for a bit because mirrors don't want to just sit on top of the fireplace. In The Sims 3, they used to. Like, everything used to just pop right on top of their fireplaces, even the stone ones. But yeah, not in The Sims 4. Gotta play with it, but thank goodness we have awesome creators like Twisted Maxi that make, you know, these I call them mods, but I'm like, this is awesome. I could literally put anything and do whatever with it. It is so cool to me. It's just what a genius. All right, so here's the little laundry room. I just kind of use this as their laundry room / utility room. I even put their holiday box in there, a little to-do list board. You know, it's smack dab in the middle of the house. Everyone's going to go in there to do their laundry. That's probably going to be where mom and dad put, you know, son, you do this, daughter, you do that. Hopefully friendlier than that. For the bathrooms, I did not want to do the traditional route at all. I didn't want, because again, this isn't a period piece. These are modern people. So I wanted it to be pretty modern and very nice. Obviously, this is a very nice house. This family has, you know, has some money. Everything's really nice. Nothing's falling apart. It's not a grunge build is what I'm saying. So, you know, why wouldn't their bedrooms and bathrooms be more modern, be more kept up, have pretty decent appliances? The kitchen has decent appliances, but I made sure to like use the stuff that looks like it fit in. So the bathrooms are really nice. Bedrooms are too, but we don't see any bedrooms down here. So this is where I start to kind of venture out more, like out of the traditional pieces, to really showing that this is a modern build and not, you know, something for way back when. I've said this many times and I'll always say it. I hate doing stair landings and stuff. I never know what to put. So this is a very open area, and I wanted it open so, you know, you can walk all the way around it to get to all the rooms that's upstairs, except for the bathrooms. I give them, like, each bedroom has its own personal bathroom. Well, except for the girls' room. But anyways, I wanted it to, you know, be open on all sides. And I struggled with, like, how do I decorate this? I do this to myself. So you see me right here just putting out a lot of art pieces and going, okay, what am I going to use? What am I not going to use? These are the ones that I'm just like, okay, this could work. This part where with the little couch and the bookshelves, I was fine with. I'm like, yeah, that's cute, and maybe a banner from Hemford on Bagley, you know, showing livestock and stuff makes sense. But then the other sides of the room, I was like, oh. And I felt like me hanging up all this art, like it just looks like an art gallery. Like, what do I do with this? I really liked the little hallway tables with the mirrors. To me, that looked very ranch-like, very old, like Victorian style. So I was going to keep that, but I just felt like the way I had the paintings was weird. Like, it didn't make sense. So I ended up taking like 3 paintings out and just putting the tapestries from this pack up. And then on the other side, I just put up trophies and little horse riding memorabilia. And I felt like that fit in a little bit better. If you disagree or think I could have done another route with that, please let me know. Because I struggle with this part of big builds all the time. And I'll watch other videos and I'm like, okay. It's like, what do you put? Oh, I must have needed to save my game for a second there. Thought I edited that out. Never mind. Okay, so I'm just finishing up this part and going, oh, okay, we made it through. And I think it came out okay, but I would love to hear your guys' suggestions if you have any, or if you think it looked fine, just reassure my stressed out brain that it looked fine. So now we're on to the parents, the master bedroom, and it's a big old bedroom. So I knew I wanted them to have their own little entertainment area where they, watch TV. They have so much room around their bed to, do cartwheels and stuff if they wanted to. So on this side of the room, I just make for entertainment and hobbies. One side has guitar. Maybe she's into knitting like her teenage daughter. Maybe she taught her teenage daughter how to knit. I'm getting into the nifty knitting stuff pack like heavily. I think it's like the funnest thing. I guess because I also knit, I'm like, this is perfect. So I try to give each side of the bed, like with every build, their own little assigned area. Like here's mom's side, she got a little bit of makeup, and then here's dad's side, he's got his cologne. And this little box maybe of keepsakes and stuff he looks at. And I hate these curtains 90% of the time, but I felt like for this particular style, it actually fit in. And I ended up really liking how that looked. I decided to add a little pop of red, since a lot of the wood I noticed I was using for up here had more of an orangish reddish tone to it than rather in the other rooms that I'd been using. And I'm just making sure I have light switches in every room and I don't miss a room. So now we are in the master bathroom, and I wanted to make it look so pretty. So I kind of do the same thing I did downstairs, where I make a, walk-in shower, but it's, a little bit bigger. Instead of having a door, I just have it, open with these awesome windows from the spa pack. And yeah, I think it looked really, really neat. I liked doing this bathroom. I wanted to have his and hers sinks and just decorate it up a little bit. So again, which side is mom's and which side is dad's. And this was a big bathroom, and I really liked it because I could really picture this bathroom working in this house. This big Texas ranch with its big rooms. Like, I felt like it fit in with the whole design I was going with. I absolutely love the everyday clutter stuff and the bathroom clutter. I fought myself for a while on getting that because I felt like, I've got a lot of clutter. Why would I need more? Oh yeah, I don't regret spending that $5 at all. It is so much fun. It adds so much character and personality to these rooms. And yeah, I just love it. In almost every bedroom, I have a closet space. Now, the ones that don't have a closet space, they will have closets in a bathroom. And some houses, at least like some houses I've been to when I have visited my friends out in West Texas, they'll have these awesome closets in their bathrooms. Some of you may have that. I don't see it that much here in Mississippi. I don't know why. It didn't hit me until I was building this. I was like, I don't hardly see that. But if you think that's weird, that's my explanation for why I'm doing it, because a lot of my friends have that are from this region have these closets in their bathrooms. But if that's like, that's normal, what are you talking about? I'm just here to let you know, not every region has that. I don't know. I know in North Louisiana we did, because I'm originally from North Louisiana. We had some houses with closets in their bathrooms. Okay, so this is the boy side that I'm picturing as a young adult. So like I said, he is a new young adult. So you still have remnants of his high school years. He was, into basketball, and you have stuff, maybe he's into music. But I see him, as a big rancher. And I love his bathroom. I could just picture when he was a little boy, real cute. Now we're in the teenage daughter's room. And I've got her little stereo so she could, dance, bob her head along. And I struggled a little bit with the placement of these things because I wanted her to seem girly, but girly creative. Like, she is a knitter, she's a painter, she is really good at it, she's very passionate about it. And so I like using these little boards from the Nifty Knitting Pack, which I hardly ever get to use because they're so colorful. I mean, you have to have certain builds that go with this for it to make sense. So I just felt like it made that room so much cuter and made me want to build this family I have in mind up. So now we're in little girl's room, and I just have a bunch of stuff for her. Some knitting stuff that maybe her sister made her, or maybe she even made herself. A little marble collection, piggy bank, a collection of crafts, just a little mix of stuff. And I liked using the purple, or light purple, I guess lilac, and her bedspread. I love her little bedspread. It's got unicorns on it, but I'm like, they have horses. This goes so good. I was excited. I love doing kids' rooms because, you know, they're kids for such a short amount of time. I feel like you don't get to enjoy the decorations as much. So this bathroom, I feel like, is probably the bathroom that is shared between the teenage daughter and this little girl. So I kind of have it looking a little bit messier than the boys' bathroom because we have to mix a child theme with a teenager. So I've got makeup kits. I've got some little bath toys. I love that little organizer that looks like it is so full of stuff that it can't even close. So I have it looking a little bit more disheveled than the young adult boys' bathroom. And yeah, I loved the wallpaper in here because of the pink and teal. That's one of my favorite like color mixtures is pink and teal. It to me, it just looks like it goes well together. All right, so we are done with the house. Now we're working on the stable, and this is pretty quick. So I wanted to have enough room comfortably for 2 horses, and they live in the lap of luxury. And I put some horses on here for my playthrough to make sure they can walk through, and they can. They have enough room to, you know, comfortably sleep and eat and drink their water. However, I do put exercise balls on each side, and they cannot use that in here, but I do put it in here for this build. So, you know, if you do download this, yeah, you may have to go into build mode and move the ball. I just put some decorative pieces up, you know, supply stuff for, you know, the rancher and his ranch hands. I wanted it to look, you know, as well kept and authentic as possible. Something that has gotten heavily used and is heavily cared about by these Sims. And we are about to end it up, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, have a good one.